Welcome to another lesson, electronic lesson, to this Kurdish into English module. Today's lesson, I'll give you vocabularies that are related to legal vocabularies. So we'll start off with words like sikalat bar, tawan bar, dadwar, and hukum kiran. When we discuss legal vocabularies, it's important that you understand that most of legal vocabularies have to be translated word for word, because when you deal with legal terminologies, it's important that you do not make any mistakes translating something in the wrong way, because that could cause legal issues to both the interpreter, the translator, and the people who are either filing a case against someone or the defendants, and so on. So Koladbar is the plaintiff. It's the person who files a report against a wrongdoer, against a person who has committed a crime. Okay? So it's, in English, the word is known as plaintiff. The opposite, it's not really the opposite, but it's just, you can understand it that way in forms of mnemonics, that the opposite to the word plaintiff is defendant. Defendant is the person who is defending himself in a case, or themselves. Depends if it's a girl or a guy. If it's a girl or herself, if it's a boy, a guy, then it's himself. So the defendant is the person who defends their case, defends that they have not committed any wrongdoing in the court. The next is dadwar. The judge is the person who judges in favor or against a person. And finally, in this page, you have the word sentence, hukum kiran. Hukum kiran. Now, I have put up some sentences here, which I ask you to translate if you want, orally that is. I'm not going to ask you to write anything, because I have sentences for you to translate afterwards. Look at sentence number 1. It says, the plaintiff, the plaintiff is Turkish. The plaintiff is Turkish. Let's go to another sentence where there is the word tawanbar. Look at sentence number 3. It says tawanbari tawana dizya pare hata desta ser kiran. Okay, so you can say the defendant accused of stealing money has been incarcerated, or has been captured, or has been caught. All of these are correct. Remember, there isn't one particular way in which you translate a sentence. There are different myriads of ways. The most important thing, the sentences translated have to be correct. Let's go to another word. Judge. Dadwari tawanbar du salan hukum kir. When you translate this, you say the judge sentenced the defendant for 3 years in prison. Or you can simply say the judge sentenced him 3 years in prison. The same thing. I said the same thing. I apologize about that. So the defendant was sentenced for 3 years by the judge. That's another way of translating the sentence. Hukum kiran, this word as well. Hukum kirna siyasatmandaran karaki asanine. Sentencing politicians isn't an easy task, or isn't an easy job. Okay, it's this sentence right here, talking about this sentence. Okay, let's carry on. We have other vocabularies like vandalism, veran kiran. Vandalism is, let's say there's a property in your neighborhood and you spray paint the wall of your neighbor, or a wall of a property in your neighborhood. That's considered as vandalism. Vandalism also means, let's say you break a window, you vandalize a public property, or a property that belongs to the government. That's called vandalism. Second is the word sultan, arson, arsoning. If you Suppose you go to a picnic and then you threw a cigarette into an area that is full of bush, dried bush. Then this causes fires, yes, huge fires that require the intervention of firefighters. If the police catches you, you'll be accused of arsoning. Not really accused, but you will be convicted with arsoning. Convicted means تهمت giren. Next word is forgery. سخت giren. You know what forgery is. Forgery is when you, let's say, you counterfeit money, you produce fake money and you distribute it among people. That's called forgery. Or maybe if there's a painting, a special painting, let's say Mona Lisa, and you create a fake Mona Lisa and you sell it to people, that's also considered as forgery. Although I understand that this second example, which I have given, is slightly exaggerated, but really that's also considered as forgery. Next is DUI, driving under the influence, or in Kurdish known as حاجتنا جير کاریگری کحولی. Let's say there's someone who drinks alcohol and then they start driving afterwards. This causes a lot of crimes in many parts of the world, especially in America. This is a really bad transgression. If you are caught driving under the influence, and if you do something horrible, let's say you kill someone under the influence of alcohol, then you can get really serious consequences. You could go to jail for, I don't know exactly how many years, but this is a really bad. This is a really bad thing. It means you should not drive if someone, you should not drive if you drink alcohol. You shouldn't do that. Let's do a couple of sentences here and there. ویرانکردن ملکی گشتی تاوانه و کس دهیت سزادان. Vandalism of public property. ملکی گشتی, public property, is a crime and the person will be punished. Okay? کسی که سویدی مالا خوب خیزان و سودن. I don't know if this is a true story, but I think I heard something like that before. So, a Swedish person, because it says Kesek, burned their house or arson their house along with his family, with their family. I'm not sure if the Kes in this case, well, it's a man, so it's a Swedish person burnt their house along with his family, or arsoned his house along with his family. Next is the word forgery. Let's say that this word, this sentence is translated into. Let's say that this sentence is translated to money forgery is present in Baghdad, or in Baghdad, money forgery is conducted, or money forgery is conducted in Baghdad. All of these sentences, I guess, are correct. Okay, next sentence. Let's say that this sentence will be translated to driving under the influence is common in Kurdistan. Yes, or you can also say this sentence could say something like, the translation, could say something like it's common in Kurdistan region to find drivers driving under the influence of alcohol. Although I elongated the sentence and it was a long-winded sentence, anyways, I think it's also correct. Although there is no mentioning of drivers, but I put it there because contextually you would know that it means you're talking about drivers. Next, I think so there are plenty of vocabularies in this lesson. You have cybercrime, تاوان الکترونی. You have lesh فروشتن, prostitution. You have دزدریجی sexy, sexual harassment. And you have باز سردانی, rape or raping. Okay, cybercrime is when you harass a person online. Say you have an Instagram account and use that Instagram account to harass girls on Instagram. That is considered as a cybercrime. Okay? And you could actually be penalized, you could be punished for committing acts of cybercrime online. Next word is prostitution. Prostitution, I think it's counterintuitive. You know what that means. Lesh is when females use their bodies for, let's say, for making money. Okay, so it's called prostitution. Next word is desdirija sexy, sexual harassment. Sexual harassment and boss sardoni, raping, are slightly different. Sexual harassment could entail anything like slight, even like touching. If you touch a person, let's say if a girl touches a boy or a boy touches a girl, that could constitute what is known as a sexual harassment. All right. However, raping is taking things to extremities, taking things to areas like forcing someone to do sexual acts. This is, of course, it's worse than sexual harassment, but sexual harassment by no means is something to look over. It's also something serious, and people should take it seriously. Let's look at sentence number 1. It says sending immoral images is a cybercrime. Okay. Next sentence says شرمکرناش بابت دزدریجی سکسی جدزدانا مافانه. Feeling shy of sexual harassment topics is losing rights. Okay, is losing rights. دو جهین لش فروشتن الدهو که هاتنا دائخستن. 2 prostitution places in the hook were closed. All right, or have been closed. Both of them are correct, or maybe I think we're closed is better because it's hotna da'ikhstan. Well, hotna da'ikhstan could be present perfect, but you have to check this with your grammar teacher, who would tell you about the difference between this sentence in terms if it was present perfect or simple past. Anyways, I think prostitution. For prostitution, there is prostitution places, and there's also prostitution. There's another word which is on the tip of my tongue, but I forgot what it is, so I'll leave it there. Maybe I'll tell you in the class the next time we see each other. یکیش پیسترین تاوانا با سردانیه. One of the worst crimes is the crime of raping. Okay? Alright, let's go to the final one. You have the word tundutiji, violence. You have the word ravandin, kidnapping. That sounded really weird. It's almost like I'm an Italian person with a sibilant r, you know. Anyways, I'm pretty sure some of you will understand the joke, others will not. Let's carry on. Next word is assault. Assault, when you beat someone. Violence, or tundutiji, although it is a generic word, but here I mean violence against women, or violence, believe it or not, even against men. Now we hear of violence against women. Let's see, ravandin, kidnapping. I remember last year when I said this sentence in a class, a student said, well, actually, this happened in my neighborhood a while ago. So, it happened to be a real incident. Well, this is life. Everything is expectable. Expect everything. Anyways, so when you translate the sentence, you say a girl in Barushke neighborhood was kidnapped. Okay? Or has been kidnapped. Next sentence. جیران ما هیرش کره سر پلیسکی. Our neighbor assaulted a policeman. Our neighbor assaulted a policeman. Yes. So that was about it for the vocabularies in relation to law or legal vocabularies. I'll put this video on Moodle and on my YouTube channel, YouTube translation channel. With this, I'll also add on Moodle, that is, the sentences that you need to translate, and I believe I'll also put a paragraph, a long paragraph, which contains these legal vocabularies for you to translate. With that being said, thank you very much for your attention. Have a very lovely day. Take care.